want to listen to a pretty alright podcast about wrestling, do ya?
Well, the natural lad, Jim Swag, has said time and time again that there's only one podcast that's the most decent and the most all-rightest in the industry today.
And that's... It's the Game Rage Wrestling Podcast.
Yes, natural lad Jet Swag. Thank you for asking. Because we all would love to listen to a pretty alright podcast about wrestling.
The most decent and the most alright.
And that would be the Game Rage Wrestling Podcast. My name's Josh. I'm here today with... he's alright, Adam.
The most alright co-host.
The most decent and most alright co-host.
I'm right in the meet the curve. I don't overachieve, I don't underachieve. I'm right in the middle.
Adam is the curve, all right? And today we're going to talk about PLEs and why the fuck nobody cares anymore, and they're not important.
We're going to keep it short and sweet. Hopefully within the 20-minute mark. We'll see how long we rant, but I just wanted to get to the point about this particular subject. But before we do that, Josh is going to take it away and get to the shameless plugs.
Oh, you're goddamn right I am, good buddy. I'm going to shamelessly plug away like a fucking stupid kid at an electrical socket with a knife. I'm going to plug fucking right away and maybe get electrocuted. I don't know. Because I feel the electricity inside me. And if you want to feel the electricity inside of you, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com, where you can also go and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter /X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube, Game Rage Magazine. If you like music, you can follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram and go listen to the All Gas No Trash podcast. If you like anime, you can go listen to the Anime Syndicate podcast and follow Frank at anime_syndicate_podcast. All right, fuck, that's enough. All right.
And also, statistically, it's not proven, but you're 42% more likely to get matches on Tinder if you watch Game Rage Magazine.
Shit, you know what? I heard that 80% of the time, it works 37% of the time.
Wow. I can't believe it. With those numbers, how could you possibly say no?
How could you not get laid with those fucking numbers? Those are legend numbers right there. Like, you're basically, if you listen to any of our stuff, you basically get an automatic Legends contract with the WWE, all right? You don't even have to do anything.
But what you do have to do
is listen to Game Rage. Damn, we make the best commercials. And you know what the best part is? We don't write any of this shit. We just did that off the cuff, man. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right.
The subject matter itself.
PLEs, otherwise previously known as PPVs.
You have a theory.
I have a theory.
I also have a theory.
We all have theories. Why don't you go ahead, let's hear your theory.
All right. I am of the belief currently that PLEs are so predictable that you can predict what's going to happen, much like how we predicted that Bad Blood is going to have Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan.
Hell in a Cell. It's going to be in a Hell in a Cell match.
It's going to be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk for
also
the third incarnation of
also in a Hell in a Cell match
of their rivalry.
Yep.
So I am of the belief that the only time that the plot changes for any of these significant storylines will usually be at one of the major four pay-per-views, i.e. WrestleMania, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam.
Correct.
What saith you, good sir?
I fucking completely agree with that. I think that the level of which these storylines are able to be predicted, I mean, we predicted everything that was going to happen. We literally predicted to a T what was going to happen at Bash at Berlin.
You did. I got the Judgment Day shit wrong.
Whatever, not a big deal. But we picked we collectively at Game Rage Wrestling, we picked it, all right? We called it that this is what's going to happen. Now, again, I'm making my predictions or the Game Rage Wrestling predictions on what I think is going to happen at Bad Blood. Now, I can't predict. I'm not going to predict all of the matches, but I can probably predict the outcome pretty easily. And the PLEs in the once we went from PPV pay-per-view to PLE premium live event, that's when it really got bad. Because before we had the WWE Network, you had to buy the pay-per-view. You had to pay $49.95.
It ain't fucking cheap.
No, being a wrestling fan back then, before the WWE Network, was crazy. We would be spending, well, in the 90s, it was $39.95. Then it went up to $49.95. And then WrestleMania got up to like, I think,
$60.
I think it was $79.95 for WrestleMania. And granted, this was before it was 2 nights. This was before it was fucking 18 hours of content. It was a 3 to 4 hour, generally maybe 4 hours, 4.5 hours was the max. But when we went to the WWE Network, that's when things started changing. That's when we started getting pay-per-views were still semi-meaning something if they weren't a Big Four pay-per-view. Again, it was rare that a title change would happen or that something of import would happen on these things. But now, as the corporate machine of how the WWE is with these quote-unquote PLEs, these premium live events, they're extremely predictable. Nothing happens that is of major storyline importance at these things. It's essentially a little bit more premium version of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. That's basically what we're getting in PLEs right now.
With the exception of King of the Ring now creating something of a meaningful path to SummerSlam, like the way Royal Rumble serves as the ticket or your bid into the main event
Right.
of WrestleMania. So I feel like that's one exception, but it doesn't justify the rest of the pay-per-views because they don't mean shit.
Right. Well, all King of the Ring does is it sets up the story for SummerSlam. That's it. There's no import other than the outcome of the match. There's nothing storyline impactful about really anything else that happened at the King of the Ring. Gunther winning was the only fucking storyline-wise important thing that happened at the King of the Ring, right? And that was only because it was setting him up to go fight for the title at SummerSlam. So pretty much all the other ones are just kind of, I mean, they're basically advanced episodes of Monday Night Raw. And, oh, go ahead.
To add to your point, because this was something that should have actually happened, I think that would have sent a lot of people home happy. Ever since Clash at the Castle has been added into the inception, or rather, ever since its inception into the PLE schedule, that pay-per-view has meant fuck all, especially to Drew McIntyre, where you think maybe a pay-per-view justified for Drew McIntyre to appear and then to face Roman Reigns in, I think, 1 or 2 incarnations to conceivably win the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, right? There was times where the crowds were so wild that it was possible, just based on the reactions. I don't know if at that point Vince McMahon or Triple H was, running in control. But I feel like they actually should have pulled the trigger for how uproarious the crowd was for Drew McIntyre to win.
Yeah.
That might have been the right move. And they didn't pull the trigger, therefore wasting everybody's goddamn time.
Well, and what's sad, too, is they did that to Drew McIntyre twice. They created the Clash of the Castle, basically, this is the hometown guy, blah, blah, blah.
They blue balls you twice.
Well, but for Bash in Berlin, they knew this was happening. They specifically gave Gunther the World Heavyweight title before then so he could defend it at Bash in Berlin to the home crowd. But what's funny is they decided to give him the title at SummerSlam instead of letting Damian Priest keep it through SummerSlam, have him go through someone else, and then say, hey, let's just give Gunther the shot at Bash at Berlin since we're going to Berlin and let him win it there. How crazy would it have been if he would have won it there? instead of at SummerSlam.
That would be fucking sweet, because then you're not
expecting that off the top of your head.
That would have been sweet,
right? But when he goes into it, you're not going to take the belt off of him in his home fucking area. You're not going to do it, especially when it's your first pay-per-view or PLE in Germany. You're not going to fucking do that.
Indeed,
and it's predictable. Bad Blood, I am in favor of bringing back some of the old nameplates for the PLEs that were pay-per-views. I'm in favor of that. I think 98 to 2005, some of those names that they used, they should bring back. They should bring back Armageddon. They should bring back NXT's been using shit. Like No Mercy was a good one, but we just had NXT No Mercy, and if you want to hear us talk about that, you can go back and listen to the previous episode to this, which is going to be us talking about NXT No Mercy. But those things are kind of starting to come back again. Bad Blood's an example. I mean, King of the Ring has been gone for almost, a decade and a half? King of the Ring was kind of gone.
Yes.
And now they brought it back and they made it mean something. So I'm in favor of that. But I also think that we need to make these pay-per-views mean something. If we're going to bring back these old names that do mean something, I think we need to make it worth our while. At Bad Blood, we need something to happen. Listen, as much as I don't fucking want to see Solo Sikoa as the fucking WWE Universal Champion, he needs to win the title at Bad Blood. That's the only thing that's going to keep us interested in this. That's the only thing that could possibly keep me interested in maybe this Cody Rhodes nonsense. He's got to drop the title. It's not. Otherwise, why are you having him fight Solo Sikoa again? What the fuck is the point?
Yep.
So I think that's what they need to do. I don't think they do it.
I don't think so either. And I hate to use this example, but for the sake of argument, I don't know if we'll ever have a situation where a title change like Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar at No Way Out, a pay-per-view in February leading into WrestleMania. Like, does that shit ever happen again? Where even for Bad Blood,
that'll be leading into Survivor Series. That'll be Survivor Series will be the next PLE, or it should be at least. Let me look at the PLE schedule just to make sure, because I don't want to fucking talk out of turn.
Because you're talking.
It's October. It's the 5th of October,
right.
So theoretically, yes, the next pay-per-view or the next PLE should be Survivor Series. That's what it should be. Why the fuck do they have this? I just wanted to see what's upcoming. Jesus Christ. 2024. Okay. 2024. We got Bad Blood.
And one other pay-per-view
is going to be. Oh my God! It's not. Jesus Christ. Happened? Okay, October 5th is Bad Blood.
Yes.
Then, which I'm in favor of this. I love Halloween Havoc.
Wait, they're bringing it back?
Well, NXT. It's an NXT event.
Oh God.
But I love Halloween Havoc. I'm gonna watch that just because I like Halloween Havoc. So maybe they'll do some cool shit. November 2nd.
Before
Survivor Series is November 30th. Okay. October 27th we get Halloween Havoc, and then November 2nd, a full 29 days before Survivor Series War Games, we get Crown Jewel.
Oh my God.
That will mean nothing's gonna happen.
You know that shit's gonna suck dick.
Oh, it's gonna be the worst. And you know what? We're gonna watch it.
Oh my God, dude.
It's gonna be horrific.
A nothing burger of a fucking pay-per-view.
Oh yeah. Again, it means nothing. It will mean nothing. Bad Blood may mean something because, this is gonna be the rubber match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. So we might get a kind of conclusion to the storyline. Or maybe it just delves even further and deeper, and they have some kind of maybe they still have a grudge after this. Maybe they wrestle to a draw inside Hell in a Cell. I don't know.
Or Seth Rollins might come up, because he did, remember CM Punk was feuding with Seth Rollins as referee.
That's true.
I'm sure that's going to get revisited.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's going to be interesting to see where that shit goes. But Bad Blood, I don't think any. Okay, Gunther, if he wrestled, I don't even think the World Heavyweight title is going to be on that show. They're going to leave it off since they left off fucking. Maybe they do have it on there, and I just hope we don't get 5 matches like we did with Bash in Berlin.
Fuck, man, where's all that money from Saudi Arabia going if they're not spending it on the goddamn entrance? Like,
yeah, serious.
Where the fuck is it going? Oh, one thing, okay, this is off on a tangent, but one thing I noticed about Bash in Berlin that I should have mentioned in the previous episode, since we were on the subject of Bash in Berlin, because of the simplified perimeter of the ring.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have like those digitized advertisement placements or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I actually concentrated on the match more when they have that shit in the background where they have numerous. It's too much. Dude.
It is so distracting. It's good for Cody Rhodes because he gets to cover up all of his bullshit because you're not actually fully paying attention. So maybe that's why people think Cody Rhodes is so fucking great because all these advertisements are all distracting them.
Prime Energy.
Yeah.
Slim Jim ads.
KSI's fucking just peeking his head out of the background somewhere. Fucking fake jumping over fucking Lamborghinis or whatever the fuck he's doing next.
Fuck me, dude. I just think that the days of any unpredictability of any pay-per-view, because they're so affordable.
Well,
because you pay for the subscription of Peacock, right? To watch all of them.
Yeah.
So if for $60, for $40 or whatever amount of you're paying in the past for pay-per-views, dude, you better fucking bring something to the table.
Well, yeah, because they got to keep us buying every month. Like, you need to fucking make it entertaining. You need to have some shit happen.
So if you didn't do that, I mean, shit, maybe you weren't getting your $60 or WWE wasn't getting their $60 every month if people are like, well, I can't expect meaningful things to happen beyond Survivor Series, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the Royal Rumble. Why am I going to fucking pay? But it's so cheap now, but it's like, okay, I don't fucking know, man.
Think about this, okay? Here's another theory about PLEs.
Another conspiracy theory.
Okay, the WWE's deal with Peacock for PLEs and the legacy content goes until March 2026.
So the following year after Netflix goes into effect.
Yeah, so Netflix goes January 2025. March 2026 is when the PLE deal with Peacock is over. So I don't know what the particulars are. There may be a deal where Peacock has the right of first refusal. Who the fuck knows? But because Raw is on the deal with Netflix for 10 years. Likely SmackDown's going there as well, probably 10 years. My theory is that in 2026, the WWE is going to have everything on Netflix, right? That seems logical. But I also think that because Peacock is going to know that shit is going to be ending soon, they're going to want to make a little bit more money. So my theory is that they will try to offer the WWE, hey, what if we just start charging $9.99 for the PLEs for people to watch them?
Oh, God, that is not good.
And when they go to Netflix, we're going to go back to, because remember, Netflix keeps raising its subscription price. Ew. And there's going to be a point where if it's $80 a month for Netflix, like no one's going to buy that shit. So in order to keep their cost for the general average Joe low, hey, as part of your subscription with Netflix, you get SmackDown and Raw and NXT for free. But if you want to watch the pay-per-views, it's $9.99 you can pay. That's the future. That's what they're going to do. I guarantee it.
It's the same old shit with a new coat of paint.
Yep. But what'll be the difference is that the one good thing is that will force the WWE to go back to making specific sets. It'll go back to having these things mean something again. Because if I don't like, if your first pay-per-view again at $9.99, if it sucks dicks, we ain't buying the next one. Because we could just see what happens the next night on Raw, or we could just bootleg the fucking stream. Yeah. We don't need to pay you $9.99. So
you bitches.
I have a feeling that that's...
You bitches better show out. If that ends up happening where they're just gonna piecemeal you pay-per-views that you have to buy Netflix in order to watch shit weekly with Raw and SmackDown, because now that NXT is gonna be on CW to public television, regular television, fuck man, right back to where we started with pay-per-views. Yeah, you gotta pay $30 for this one goddamn pay-per-view.
Yeah, because it's cyclical. Because the hot move was for them to sell it at $9.99, and they were making more money than they ever fucking imagined. They made more money on the WWE Network, letting everybody have pay-per-views for free as included with your $10 a month subscription, than they ever did selling pay-per-views. They fucking made an infinite amount of more money doing that.
Yeah.
And now, the quality of these PLEs is starting to diminish. Now they're saying, okay, we are getting paid up front by Netflix for like these deals. We're getting paid up front for these things now. So what if we then say, cool, we're gonna start charging $9.99. Netflix, you get half, we get half.
But fuck, man, why don't they do some of the inverse things of putting the ads on Raw, putting the ads in the ring on Raw and around the perimeter like they normally do or whatever, and then when we watch the pay-per-views,
we don't have those.
We don't have those because we paid $30.
Well, the reason why is because USA Network isn't going to let that happen because, or Fox or whoever, they're not going to let that happen because they don't get a cut of that advertising money.
Yeah.
So they're not going to allow that. So that's why you don't see that shit on SmackDown or Raw, because they don't. But WWE's taking all this money because, well, shit, there's 100 million Peacock subscribers. That's 100 million people that could potentially watch this advertisement inside this WWE pay-per-view that they're paying, which is included with their subscription. So...
yeah, I just think...
because now what they've started doing, if you'll notice, on Peacock, they started doing this thing where Michael Cole says, if you're a Peacock premium subscriber,
oh God,
stay tuned for the preview of this match. You get to see the promo with the video package. You don't get to watch that if you just have the base level of Peacock anymore.
Ugh.
That gets cut out. Now it's only if you have the premium, which is the commercial-free version of Peacock.
They don't even add that much, to be honest.
They don't, but when I was watching NXT, it came in handy because I don't know what the fuck's going on, so I was able to see
so they piecemeal you that too?
That's why I think this is going to happen this way.
Ugh, that's gross.
It is.
Well, shit, man, like I was saying, they better be more consistent about making each individual pay-per-view more unpredictable. That there's going to be a real possibility that a title change is going to happen.
If it goes to where you're paying for it again, that's the mentality they're going to have to go back to, because that was what got pay-per-views over was fuck. If this is going to be the same shit I'm going to watch on fucking Raw, why would I pay for a pay-per-view? Which is what the whole mentality of the business was back then was, hey, 4 weeks of television to get you to a pay-per-view. I don't necessarily want these two guys to even interact with each other in the ring until the pay-per-view, because I want people to pay to see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's insane. But that's where I think it's going. PLEs are going to become PPVs once again. Oh, fuck, man.
And a new era for the Galactic Empire.
Yes. And fucking, I don't know.
The Wrestling Empire.
Triple H or whoever the fuck's running the shit now will be.
Lord Papa H.
Yeah, Papa H will be like, yes, I am the truly King of Kings. Fuck you all.
Back to square one with you cretins, you fucking plebeians with your pay-per-views. You will have it, but we will take twice as much and 3 times as much.
Yes.
Out of each pay-per-view and Raw and SmackDown.
Yes, and then in 10 more years, we will go back to PLEs once again, thus continuing the cycle of money forever.
And then WWE Network will go back to, well, maybe it'll come back, I don't fucking know. 2.0.
They will, because after a while, they're going to go, well, wait a minute. We've been making all this money. Maybe the contracts will start dwindling, and they're going to go, fuck, it's going to be cheaper if we just make our own thing again. And then they go to that.
And then they'll go to Amazon because...
Amazon will have owned everything by then.
Yeah, Amazon's cloud services and all that bullshit, all the architecture and servers and all. They're like, fuck it, we might as well put it on Amazon, and then you're gonna have to subscribe to Amazon to watch fucking everything.
Yeah, then you're gonna have to get your $500 a year fucking Amazon Prime subscription. to what they're going to do is you'll have access to all this cool TV shit, but then it's like, oh, you can get your package in 3 to 7 business days. Like that's
Man,
otherwise it takes 2 months to get your package.
I would love to be in the position of Triple H to just constantly leverage all the content of wrestling, like all the programming, all the brands, and just be like, we don't want to have any responsibility for posting or where our content ends up, but we want all the money and we want to do none of the work.
Yeah.
I hope Game Rage gets into a position where we take none of the responsibility and harvest all the goddamn benefits.
And get all the money and do none of the work. That's the best part. That's what we can only hope for.
Man, wrestling is just like the embodiment of fucking everything. It applies to literally everything.
Yeah. So
thanks for tuning in. This is probably going to be the end of the episode.
Yep.
Hopefully you enjoyed this fruitful conversation about why we're getting robbed on a monthly basis. And
if you've had enough, if you're tired of it, then you can go and fucking join the Game Rage Revolution, because we fucking are getting the pitchforks and the fucking flamethrowers ready, and we ride at dawn.
And
all right?
the trebuchets for once.
Yes, trebuchets. The Game Rage trebuchet that we've been talking about making since the beginning will finally see action as we lay siege medieval style to the WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut.
The most powerful force of the galaxy, the trebuchet.
And Triple H will be seeing this conversation and be like, yes, now as you give me all your money, and they'll go, Mr. H, the Game Rage guys are here. And then he's gonna look outside and go, yes, those plebeians, those peasants, oh fuck, they have a trebuchet. Oh fuck, call the gods, get us out of here. Evacuate the helicopters immediately.
Mr. H, the second trebuchet has hit the tower. the Stamford, Connecticut headquarters has been hit.
Has been hit. Yeah.
All right. I don't think we can do better than that. So we better get out of here before we outstare welcome.
Yeah. Oh, I think we already did. But anyways, go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube, Game Rage Magazine. You can also follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official. You can go and listen to the All Gas No Trash podcast. You can follow Frank at anime_syndicate_podcast. And you can go listen to the Anime Syndicate podcast. And while you're at it, fuck it, go listen to the Star Wars, Game Rage Star Wars podcast and fucking all the other stuff that we do. Anyways, thanks for listening. If you're a fucking dirty wrestling smart mark, or a smark as they say, then just get fucked, because you don't know any better than us. And where's your podcast? Go fuck yourself. That was another wonderful, amazing, powerful episode of the Game Rage Wrestling Podcast. And take it from me, ladies and gentlemen, the natural lad, Jet Swag. If there's one podcast, one show you should be listening to, that you should be absolutely grateful for, it's the Game Rage Wrestling Podcast. And one of the things you can do to show your appreciation for all the hard work and dedication that these boys put out day in, day out, just for you people, it's that you can go and you can subscribe and you can like and follow them on the Instagram and the TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. You can also follow them and like them and subscribe to them on the old Twitter, which I don't know what it's called now, but who cares? It's at Game Rage Mag there. Additionally, if you feel the need to really show your appreciation, which you should, then go to their website at www.GameRageMagazine.com and show us some love. Show them some love. And show some love for the natural lad, Jet Swag.